Hello, everyone, and welcome to the competitive Overwatch South Africa Sunburst Cup. I am your host slash play-by-play caster, and I'm joined by Hydro. How are you doing, Hydro, today?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. How are you doing, Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm very excited for this game. I think it was definitely the pick of the fixtures for the winners quarterfinals for sure. We're going to be having VA Crimson or Valhalla Academy Crimson versus Eagle Eye Academy Pangolins. Teams that I believe from what I understand, are in very similar levels. I know Crimson just beat um, RQ Anomaly, which was quite a surprise. So they are looking like a really strong team. I obviously know a lot about Pangolins, being their manager and org owner kind of thing. So I'm expecting a lot from both teams. But yeah, thank you for joining us, everybody. Today is going to be a really amazing day of Overwatch, followed by tomorrow. We are on day 3, which is our playoffs, but it is a double elim bracket. So if one of these teams does lose, it's not the end of the road for them. So that will take a bit of the pressure off for sure. But at the same time, it's still a very big match.
Yeah, I think this will be one of our best matchups that we possibly would have. VA Crimson being a very, a team that no one really knows what will happen today. I mean, even me being a sub for them once, I like it's very hard to know if they're gonna be playing very good or what's gonna happen. But they definitely do have the potential. I mean, they've won all their games so far except for against Five Nights, but again, Pangolins is a strong team as well. But I think in terms of matchup, this is a very good and even matchup, and it should definitely be the best team on top, the one that makes the least mistakes, and and it's going to be very exciting to see who wins it.
For sure, definitely. I think it's really going to come down to small margins. Like, I know it's cliche, but I think it will be code 5 maps quite comfortably, and I believe that each map is going to be close. Well, I hope so. I really hope we get a really long game that these two teams
there's a lot of potential for that. Yeah, for when it comes to playing 5 maps, I think these two teams will have a lot of potential about bringing that out. So, yeah, we could see 5 maps. I mean, or we could see a clean wipe depending on
you never know.
how they play. But yeah, like you said, the pressure isn't too much. There is another bracket, so hopefully, nerfs won't get to the players too much.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the thing about today Overwatch is we know who should be winning, but at the same time, like, anything can happen anytime. One team shows up, the other team doesn't, and I think that's the beauty of it, right? You don't want the same teams doing the same thing every year. We know that Glorious Blasters and teams like Pink Salamanders and Five Nights at Freddy are going to be at the top there, but when teams like this, come together, and they play at a certain level and start to get on a run, you never know what might happen.
Yeah, especially with new teams, I think if you have that chance of a random dice being thrown in, it makes it more exciting because do not have an idea which team is gonna come on top, and I think definitely like you said, it makes it way more interesting and exciting to watch games like this.
It looks like first map is going to be Lijiang Tower. I believe it was VA Crimson's choice, but I love Lijiang Tower. I think it's all 3 points are vastly different. Garden being specifically very dive centric, when you can get away with like a sim pick, but mostly it's a dive centric map. Then you've got oh my god, the name's escaping me. Night Market, which yes, you can definitely play the sim, but you can get away with playing some kind of poke comps. And then Control Center, which is a very brawl centric map. So it's probably one of my favorites.
I think it's what I really like is the difference in between all points. It's really nice, and the fact that you can, if you're good enough and you're consistent enough, you can definitely get away with a different comp than what people would expect. So definitely a very nice map and a good 3 points for being our 2 matchups that we have for today.
The map order is, well, let's talk about how the maps are chosen first. It is going to be loser's pick from here, which I think is the best format in my opinion, because it gives not an advantage, but it gives something for the loser team, a bit of a comeback mechanic in inverted commas, and I think they be able to pick the stage, that kind of thing, and I really think that it's the best format. But the order we have is Control, which will be Lee Jung. We got Hybrid, Escort, Push, and then we're going to end with Flashpoint, which I think is going to be wild if we get to Flashpoint.
Yeah,
it's going to be map 5.
I think for a map 5, Flashpoint should be very, very interesting. Especially since it's the newest type of map introduced into Overwatch. I think there's still a lot. Personally, I think there's a lot to uncover when it comes to Flashpoints, but yeah, it should be a wild map 5 if it comes to that. Hopefully it does. It would be very nice.
I'm really hoping we get to map 5, because Flashpoint is wild. Flashpoint is like one of those game modes where I do feel like it can go anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter who the better team is for the most part. I do think that, obviously if you win the first 2 points, you have a very good advantage, and you can kind of counterpick, right? And I think that is what Flashpoint comes down to, is the first point is super important, because you always have that like advantage of being able to counterpick the opposition's comp. But saying that, most teams do genuinely stick to one comp, but I've seen a lot of like counterpicking happening on those kind of maps.
Yeah, the Jodes does happen a lot, I think, as well. And yeah, like the way the format is, the points and the spawns being so close, the name Flashpoint, says it all. It is a very fast-paced map, which gives people the chance to really switch up very quick. So like you said, the counter picks can not only people can counter pick, but they can counter pick and quickly get back into the fight. But the points are faster as well, so it makes it a bit more spicy, giving people a bit more exclamation that they have to get on the point. People can't really play it too slow, but there is room for slow play, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I think we should also talk about the starting lineups before we get into. We are just waiting on getting all the players in the lobby, which with load shedding can always happen. But I think we should chat about VA Crimson first. And I know, obviously, you have a lot of experience with the team being a sub, so I'm going to leave that to you to talk about the starting lineup for VA Crimson.
Yeah, so for tank we have Super, quite a really good tank. I'm familiar with his dive. His dive is usually, very good, and excited to see what he can do. As well as having Melody as a ringer or a sub, not the core lineup, so that also makes it a bit different for Crimson. But also with Pangolins, they also have a few subs as well, so it should even out. Lyman Risen on DPS, both really good DPS. Risen being the hit scan, I believe, and Lime, projectile mostly. And then Pazu with Melody on support, also very good support. So very excited to see what those two will do on support, as well as Risen and Lime. Their combos are usually very good. And just excited to see, because I think this is, a good match. And, Pangolins, I think, also. And then, why don't you tell us about Pangolins? I feel like you also have the upper hand when it comes to that team.
Yeah, for sure. So it is a bit of a scuffed lineup, I'd say, just because load shedding has ravaged the team a little bit. We have 2 players. Well, one player couldn't make it, and the one player does have load shedding. But I do want to talk about the 2 supports. Well, I believe these are going to be the supports. With the lineups changing, I think it might still be up in the air, but I believe Poach Egg and Nova Queen are going to be playing support for us. Obviously, with load shedding and everything, things have changed, but Poached Egg is usually the tank and the caller, but because of all the issues, it does look like Poached Egg is going to be playing support. But Nova Queen is a very new player to the scene, but an incredibly solid player who I feel is actually really going to shine today and show what she's made of. Going to be playing a bit of Ana, some Mercy as well. Poached Egg might probably play the main support role a bit more with Lucio if they choose to play that. And then I believe Rhett is going to be playing tank. I don't know much about Rhett. He was a last minute full because Pangolins couldn't. One of their players had to go and quickly work, so Rhett is going to come in, and then the DPS are going to be Coconuts and Rafiki. Again, this might change, but this is what the information I've been given, and Rafiki is, in my opinion, one of the best projectile players in the country. Super solid player, really leads from the front. And Coconut is also one of those newer players to the scene. She usually plays support, but she is a pretty solid DPS player. So I believe it's going to be a really, like, because of all the subs, it's going to be a wild game from both teams. And I think it's going to be, it's going to really be good for to spectate and to watch.
Yeah, I think with, like you said, the lineups being able to change. Like, we're not even sure, of the lineups because, we're having ringers coming in left and right, subs because, load shedding and, in life issues happen. So, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And like you said, we're not even sure about the lineups. So anything can happen. Again, it could go, better for Pangolins with their different lineup, or it could go worse. But same with Crimson, they might not be able to play with the wingers they have today, or the core team might have some difficulty. But I mean, that's something we'll find out and definitely have no idea about.
Yeah, we are still waiting on one of the players, so we will get into the game as soon as we can. Something I wanted to talk about is someone that I've been told that I mustn't shine a light on them too much, but I'm going to, is Lime Uros, because I was the one who actually found them to play in competitive Overwatch. Which is quite funny because we're actually family friends, and we didn't realize until after that like, oh my god, we know each other. But anyway, they started as such a solo queue player. Now one of the most solid players in the country. I heard very good things about the game against RQ Anomaly, and I'm really excited to see how they perform today. And obviously they also used to be on EEA, so it's a bit of not a grudge match. I think that's the wrong kind of word, but it is. It's obviously they have something to prove in that regard as well.
Yeah, I think both teams, have their points to prove, and I mean with both teams, Crimson winning every match so far, except for Five Nights, one of the top teams.
Yep.
I think they're coming in very strong. Then again, they have been playing against some of the weaker teams, and not all of them. We did have RQ Anomaly, which is a strong team.
Yeah.
And they still came on top. So it's good to see this matchup to really prove between the two teams who's going to be up there, but not necessarily, I think, a really solid proof of which team is better. I mean, like you said, and like we've realized now, we have a lot of load shedding and subbing and ringing, so it's very rare for us to actually have our core teams here. But I think with this craziness going on, we can at least know who's the standard and who's the better team in terms of this wild play that we're gonna have.
Yeah, I think so. And for sure, I think this format is very different to what the format I used to play, where back in the day you'd have a league system over the entire year, for example, and then you would play the playoffs at the end of the year. So these kind of smaller games didn't really matter because they were part of the league. And I mean like smaller games like. Because they're part of only the league setting, not because of lower teams. These are two very high tier teams. But with something like the Sunburst Cup, these are playoff matches right now, right here in the beginning of the year. You have to be at your best from the beginning. So there's no room for any, like, you can't really put your bad performances. You got to get your bad performance out the way in the group stage. And I feel like Pangolins and Crimson have hit the ground running on it. Obviously, the win against RQ Anomaly is huge for Crimson, and Pangolins did really well in their group stage as well. It was obviously they had a really tough group, but they did really well against Pink Salamanders, and then they had me against Inglorious Blaster, so they had no chance.
Yeah. It
But
does
I
happen. You do have, your weaker teams sometimes with these brackets. You have them going up against
yeah,
the stronger teams, and then again you do have, like for example VA Ascension and Strategic Storm, some of
yeah,
our lower rated teams, still really great teams and good up and coming teams, I believe. And had them going against Five Nights, for example, is also not a very exciting, I think, match for them. But I mean, at least maybe they can learn a thing or two
yeah,
from those type of matches.
for sure. I think that's also that's the thing about these kind of tournaments is there is going to be some real big mismatches, but the way you approach it from both sides, the really good teams and the teams that are not as favored as much, it's how you approach it and how you get the most out of them. Because all the teams are probably playing in EU tournaments as well at the same time whenever they can. But these are the matches that really mean the most, and you've got to try and just get the most from them. If that means you learn a big lesson, that's cool. If it just means you want to enjoy playing against SA teams, that's also cool. But if you want to be one of the best teams in the country, every game matters. And I think even if you're playing a lower team, you've got to be at your best at all times. You can't let your level drop, because then your next match and your level drops. I feel like a lot of teams that I've been on, especially OG Kintsugi at the end, we took those games a little less seriously, and we landed up paying for it later on because we just didn't take. We'd beat the team pretty easily, and the next time we're like, oh, okay, it'll be easy, and then we land up losing, and it's just you got to have the attitude is just so damn important, in my opinion. You have these games you got to take it from, but this game is not one of those. VA Crimson and EA Pangolins is a really close match. It should be a really close match, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a close match as well. I mean, like you said, there's a type of honor, at least when it comes to playing, the better teams, the IG and Five Nights. It's and they have to set a certain perspective about themselves. They have to prove that they're the best. They can't slack off when they play against these type of teams. So having this type of matchup that we can almost say is equal is very good, I think. And having easier teams to play with, having very hard teams to play against, and then having your equal team, I think is a really good thing to start off with.
Obviously, guys, we're talking a lot. We are having a delay. I don't think we can wait much longer for these players, but we are missing one player from Pangolins that we're trying to get in as soon as possible. So we are just talking as much as we can. There's a lot. There is a lot to talk about, because this format is just a really cool format. It's something that was also similar to when I played, is that every team, no matter what kind of group stage they have, qualifies for the playoffs, which I think is the best. I think it's the best format. It's a way to grow a scene, and it gives everyone a chance to show what they're made of in a playoff setting, and it's going to throw up some surprises for sure. But at the same time, I mean, with a double elim bracket, the cream of the crop should rise to the top. You know what I mean? It should be the best players.
No, this should be a good match. I mean, what do you? I think a good thing we can do is since you know Pangolins more, what do you think their comp is going to be like? What comps do you expect to be seeing when it comes to Pangolins?
Dive for sure. Dive, a lot of Genji. Rafiki's a very good Genji player. A lot of D.Va. Oh, I guess Poached Egg is not the one playing D.Va today, but usually a lot of D.Va, some Winston, some Ball. Definitely a dive comp. They do like Junker Queen as well, and Ram, Ramatra. So those kind of comps with Junker Queen is more of a Ball, Ram's but more of a bunker comp.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of dive. What are you expecting from VA Crimson?
I mean, yeah, Crimson, I think also dive. I know Super is a really good dive player. At least in the past, he was a really good dive player. I'm sure he's still a good dive player, and it should be his go-to. So we might see a really good, dive versus dive play coming out. I know his favorite, is bow, so maybe we'll see a bow, and bow versus D.Va might be an interesting match to see. I think Risen also, on the Genji would be very comfortable. and Lime as a hit scan, having really good cast and Widow, it's definitely gonna put some spice into the dive. Melody, not so sure about their picks, but I think Pazu and Melody would probably just help with the dive, and I think if we get a dive versus dive, it's going to be very very fun to see.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm just trying to find out. It looks like we have BK7 subbing. I believe it's BK7 on tank.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, and I think we're all
ready.
both rosters are ready, and I think we're good to be going in now.
I'm very excited for this. I think we can. I'll talk about quickly. Talk about BK7 quickly. He usually does play a bit more of a banger comp with Orisa. Actually, him and me used to be very big Orisa lovers in Overwatch 1, but I do believe they're going to stick to what they're comfortable on, right? And I do think we're still going to be seeing a lot of dives. But we're going to be lowering into control center first. My favorite point, even though I'm a dive fan, but I think this you can get away with playing some different kind of comps. But
very interesting comps we see coming out here. A bit of a Junkrat as well. Junkrat being a very strong take on this map for because I mean the spam just overwhelming brawl characters with shields usually. But yeah, I think both teams going brawl, which is going to be very interesting, and different matchups though, different lineups. So this is going to be very interesting to see. Yeah.
I also believe with the different tanks, it's going to make it very different. But it's going to be a bit more of a pro comp with the kind of brawl for Pangolins against the more rush-centered. And here comes Ramacho with Nemesis form. Gonna see what he can get. Super looking for it. Coconuts does get the first pick onto the Ram. That's a huge pick, which means Pangolins can push through. Zarya is super high charged. Rizzo is gonna pick on BK7, but the picks are going in Pangolins' favor, and Pangolins will get the first cap on this point.
Yeah, it does seem like they did, take out the tank very quickly. Super going down, making it very harder for Crimson, to do anything. I mean, without your tank, you're kind of wasting a lot of time there. So, good cleanup as well from Pangolins.
Agreed. Super's got to be super careful. Like, the Ram can get melted so quickly with a high charge Zarya, especially with the damage changes as well. But I believe the Ram comp is probably better. A really big suck in from the Ramatra. And Risen does get the pick onto Nova Queen, but the main sports are traded, but Super's getting the picks coming through here. This should be Crimson retaking the point. Coconuts does get a pick onto Lamoros, but Super popping off huge in that fight.
I think that was a very unexpected situation. I mean, Super just, it just went at it and just, dove their back line. I mean, like I said, he's a really dive character. He loves diving, so I think that threw them off a bit. I mean, they did get a few picks, Pangolins, but I mean, they ultimately their backline got wiped before Poached could do anything. So
Nemesis form again. Here comes the ult from Super. There's going to be a Junkrat tie, which is able to get Super, but Coconuts does go down to Lime Oros, and the picks are going into the favor of VA Crimson. It is now a 3v3. It's still a very close fight, but Junkrat does go down, and I do believe this is going to be a reset from Pangolins and a really good fight for Crimson.
Very great tire coming from Reds, and Super also great ults. Getting taken out by the tire wasn't too great, but I mean they still ended up on top. So I mean they still have points, and Pangolins having to try again. Pangolins having 4 ults available as well on Crimson. So a few ults are gonna be coming out.
Yeah, ults are gonna be thrown in this fight for sure. We'll see who does it first. It's gonna be Poached Egg getting that charge. She's going to be trying to push into the huge male. I think this might be able to freeze almost everyone. The beat from but I don't think it's going to be enough. A grab and a beat now from Crimson, and this is going to be Crimson taking this fight, I believe. I think the ult usage was better. The reactiveness was, the proactiveness and the reactiveness for sure was better from Crimson, and now they're in a really good position to take this map.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, they did use beats, and they did use May also, this did go into their favor, have the shutdown from May being able, to just stop them in their tracks. And then, the beat helping with situations like the grab coming out, and, it just ended up on them on top.
Going to be Soldier ult and Sojourn ult from either side. A Junkrat ult is going to come through. A huge snipe on that from Risen. The ball is stalling, but I don't think the ball can do it for much longer. Rhett is able to get super, but I do believe this is still looking good for Crimson. Or is the fight turning in the favor of Pangolins? This is really close. Whoever gets the next pick is going to be really telling. And BK7 does get it on Risen, and I do believe Pangolins are going to be able to take this. I think reset from Crimson is the play, and they've still got a very good chance of taking this map.
Yeah, I mean, they just took point there. They on 50% now. They do have a big chance of bringing this back. But VA Crimson being on 99%, Pangolins have to be very careful not to lose that point at all, or lose the team fight being more important.
Super's going to go for the Batiste and gets it, and gets the Junkrat. BK7 does get a pick on the Soldier, but with his Ram ult, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Big ult coming through, and he's just cleaning up everyone.
Yeah.
Ball being last one alive.
Yeah, mines are going to come out, but I don't think it won't be enough. And this should be VA Crimson taking that one. Tracer is going to be able to touch, I believe, but I think it's just going to be throwing people onto the point and hoping for the best. Mail does come out, and PK7 does get the touch, but I believe VA Crimson is going to be able to clean up. It's going to be Cole from the Moira. I do believe this is going to be the beginning of the end. Really good map, but at the end of the day, Crimson being a bit more cleaner and a bit more... I really love the aggressiveness. I'm sure you did as well.
Yeah, I mean, Super just being very aggressive. I don't think they expect that aggressiveness, that level of aggressiveness from him. And, just pushing, their backline off so much. I mean, with Zarya, you do need a charge, so there is a bit of downtime when it comes to, the big damage you bring in, but still, there's potential. But I mean, how Super just pushed their backline the whole time, I think they were struggling a lot, and, splitting too much with the rest of the team getting picked off.
Yeah,
but I mean, Super doing so much damage to the backline and just popping off by just taking out everyone. He's playing really, really well, with especially with Ram.
Yeah, for sure.
Dive comp's coming out now, though.
I'm very happy about Dive. I am. It is going to be the Echo on the side of Crimson and the Pharah on the side of Pangolins. So it is going to be up to that Echo to put as much pressure as possible on that Pharah. But I believe that the longer the fight take, it's going to be looking good for Pangolins. But pick from Risen onto BK7 already. Both Lucios I've gone down. Coconut does get a pick on Lima Eros, and it should be going in Pangolins' favor. Nice pick from Super though. Starting to get some of the picks going their way. Will turn this fight. The ball does come in.
I think being a bit stronger with the damage coming in.
For sure.
Still is an open play. I mean, but I think Pangolins is taking this one.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a first fight for Pangolins. I think their comp was better, so it's always going to be a bit of a comp win for them. But I do like the switch to the Soldier now from Risen, the switch to the Sombra. It should be a nice counter to what the Bull and the Pharah of Pangolins.
I think Red with the damage boost is just, on Pharah's doing too much damage.
Yep.
They're just too much of a threat in the air. I mean, at the end they get ignored too much, and they ended up taking out everyone, doing too much damage.
Super does come in, gonna go for the dive onto the Lucio. Lucio is really kind of the only target you can really go for besides the Soldier here. But the Lucio does go down, but the picks are going in Pangolin's favor. Pick onto the Lucio and to the Sombra. Primal is going to come out from Super. He's going to try and kill this Mercy, but good movement so far from Nova Queen. The Mercy does go down. This is a bit of a 3v3. It might go either way.
Ooh,
Super does
off the map.
get boost off of the map, but the picks are still going in Crimson's favor. I think this is just going to be a stall for Pangolins.
I mean, with Ball, he's trying his best, but without support, he's not healing up any of that damage he's taken.
Sure.
And, VA, Crimson taking the point, going up, and, Pangolins being on 44%. This is so far a good and even match, I would say. Both teams showing a lot of good plays here.
I think Pangolins are struggling with their ult usage. They keep getting these ults online and waiting too long for fights. They need to be a lot more proactive than reactive. And especially against a team like Crimson, who is a bit more a bit more aggressive, yeah. But it's going to be a Pharah ult. It is going to be able to get the monkey here. That's a good start from the side of Pangolins, and Ret does get the pick onto the Lucio as well. So it's going to be a 5v3. It's just going to be kind of clean up now. How long can Crimson hold this point? It is going to be a Kitsune rush, but it only was managed to get one pick, and the res is going to come through as well. So Pangolins, much better usage of their ults. They just need to be a little bit more proactive, I feel, to keep that going throughout the map.
Yeah, I think Red did a good, old utilization there, taking out Super on tank, and then Pazu coming out with the with his ult, but I mean it didn't help much because Red with the damage boost again was just doing too much damage, taking out Lucio, and then on Risen with Soldier, so it was just too much damage coming out, and they just got picked off.
Yes, Poach Egg does manage to get the Sombra, but the Lucio goes down of BK7 on the side of Pangolin, so this is going to be a 4v4. Diva switch from Super. Mines is going to come in from Crimson, and there's going to be a beat from Crimson as well, but the picks are going in Pangolin's favor. Can Super get the pick on the Soldier? He does. That could turn this fight. It is going to, they have to be throwing people on the point. It's going to be a 3v2 here. Super does get a pick onto the Mercy. That's huge. Super Loki carrying this fight.
Best to survive.
Yeah, but he does go down. He does lose his mech. Picks are still going all over the place. Risen does get the pick onto Pharah. It's Lucio on the point right now. Poach Egg does go down, which I think will turn this fight in the favor of Crimson. The Soldier ult does come out, the tactical visor, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Crimson clutch it right at the end.
Because, Poach Egg flying off the map with their slam.
Bomb's gonna come in.
Through.
Does not get anyone.
Does not get anyone. They have their map back.
Yeah, well, the fact that Poach Egg flew off the map.
Pretty interesting Diva ult coming out there, so...
Red does get
trying to get that ult down.
Red does get the opening pick. Yeah, well, should open the fight in. The ball does come in. He's still on point, trying to get some picks here. BK7 goes very low, and BK7 goes down. But it's going to be a tactical visor on the side of Crimson. How many picks is it going to be able to get here? Picks are still going all over the place. This is a really messy game, but Crimson seem to be getting the better of it.
Soldier surviving on 9 HP and just manages to reload quick enough with his visor, taking down Reds, which didn't have any supports. I think if Red took him down there, would have changed a bit the fight. But I mean, them taking that, taking Diva down, it's big. They have to reset. They have to get back quickly. I mean, it's 91% and counting.
BK7 does get hacked. He might go down.
He's down.
A really big pick on the side of Crimson, and now the Kitsune Rush comes in. Super does start going in, and he gets a couple picks with Lime Oros. It's going to be a Diva Bomb to try and clinch this, but the Mines is going to come over from Poach Egg, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's just going to be throwing people onto point. Is going to be a beat on the side of Crimson, and which will allow this cleanup. And I do believe Crimson will be taking this map. It's just up to the stalls here from Pangolins, and it's not going to be enough. And there it is, and Crimson takes map 1.
That is, yeah, I think a very, very good matchup. I think both teams did really well. I feel like, the Crimson just did a bit more with their ults. I think they took more advantage of their ults.
Yeah.
And when, Pangolins were using ults, they countered a little bit better. But I think like you said, they need to be more aggressive. They need to use their ults first, because they're only first ult's usually coming out from VA Crimson, so it makes it a bit harder for Pangolins with the counter of the ults, because with how Crimson is playing, they're just playing very well around their ults.
Definitely. I've always been a proponent of you've got to take advantage and you've got to be more proactive in this game. I think there's some teams that can get away with it, that can be a bit more reactive, but being more proactive with your ult and your abilities, if you're playing dive, you're playing brawl, to engage earlier, and you're being very intentional in your rotations. And I feel like Pangolins definitely got that wrong and Crimson got that right. And I really do feel like Super popped off that map. I've obviously been hearing a lot about Super, and I think I don't feel like Crimson pocketed him or anything like that. I think he just popped off without
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
And I think,
Super is really coming in strong with the first
yeah,
map. I mean, he's just really just wrecking Pangolins. With the Rambro, he was really strong. With the monkeys, prioritization, he was really playing well around the Pharah and
yeah,
managing to take out picks here and there. A bit of overextension from BK7 sometimes getting caught out, getting taken down. With Crimson being a bit more on the safe side, playing a bit more safer. And then, a few mistakes, accidental mistakes, like poached egg, slamming off the
yeah.
map by
Oh, I've
accident.
done it before.
That is, I think every player that's played or touched Bo probably does that their first time they play Bo.
Yeah.
I think it's something that, it just lives in Bo. It's not very hard to accidentally slam off the map or bump yourself off the map when using grapple. So definitely not a, you know, too bad thing.
It looks like it's going to be Blizzard World. This is Pangolin's pick, of course, because it is loser's pick. Uh, Blizzard World is a map where you can play a lot of comps. I think it's one of the better maps in the pool, but I think Dive is going to be the choice from both teams. But we will be seeing a change as well. Coconuts is going to be sub out. I think Coconuts had a really solid map, but it's going to be their Pangolin's main projectile player, Rafiki, coming in. I don't believe there's going to be any role switches or anything. I think it's just going to be a straight swap for Rafiki for Coconuts.
Yeah, I think Blizzard, like you said, really good comps that can come out here. You have a lot of distance for the pole comps, but then again, it's distance that can be, there's a lot of cover going out. So, when playing stuff like poke, you have to, swap positions a lot, to get the longest distance you have. Dive being, I think, the stronger comp here because of all the cover you have, all the high ground you have, all the, flanks you can have. I think it's a, little bit of a better comp that you can have here, but I think it's still hard to play against. Like Brawl can still be used here. It's
Yeah.
and all the cover just gives so much opportunity, and all the flanks you can have just give so much opportunity for the different comps.
It's a hybrid map I really like, but it looks like it's going to be Crimson going on to the red team, so it's going to be Crimson attacking first. I always loved attacking first, so I think it's a great option. You want to know what you're kind of defending, and I feel like attacking is much better. But obviously, that's my personal opinion. It's very
Yeah, I mean, on first on the first point, it's going to be harder on attack.
Yeah.
I mean, it is harder because I mean that choke point is just so solid, and it's it gives you a perspective for what you're dealing with, and it helps because I mean a lot of times I've played and scrimmed on Blizzard World, and attacking first helps because a lot of times we get ideas about the way they're playing and what we can use to counter them, and especially when defending, you can get ideas from how the enemy team defended. So I think attack personally also is my favorite first on this map.
Yeah.
Just to makes it a bit easier for what's up to come.
It looks like Pangolins are going to be going with that Diva. No surprises at all. Poached Egg on the Diva to comfort pick. Nova Queen on the Arna, it looks like, which is Nova Queen's comfort pick. Obviously, I don't really know BK7 support comfort picks. But
yeah, it seems like, and VA, we have Risen on Tracer, very good Tracer. Lime on Genji, also very good pick. They might go for the TP first and then swap, and then Super going Monkey instead of Doom. Or no, he's going back Doom.
I love
this should be very good.
Don't like playing against him, but it's to watch. It's
Super,
such a fun character.
Doom is extremely good. Very aggressive, plays very well.
Doom is going to come in.
Gets the charge.
Yeah, he immediately gets his charge for his punch, which is super important for Doom's player. Diva's going to come in, try and just force off high ground. Super is going to engage here onto the Genji, and the Genji does go down. And that's a really good start for Crimson. Going to get that first pick and start to get to this map going. Super does come in. Melody gets super low, but Super does overextend a little bit, but he does manage to get the mech from Poached Egg. This is still in VA Crimson's favor, in my opinion. Melody does get red. Limoros popping off does get the Genji, but Rafiki does get the pick back in kind, but I don't think it'll be enough. I do believe this is going to be Crimson taking the first point.
I mean, them being, Oh, we have a pause coming in.
I don't know if there's a disconnect or anything, but we do have a pause coming in. But I do feel like this has been we lost.
We do have a disconnect. I think it probably it might have been load shedding or it might have been something else. But yeah, we definitely have a swap having to come in. But yeah, Super being again very aggressive and just slamming them quickly and efficiently. Even though he does go down in the end, he did so much damage already that it made it easy for his team to just clean up the rest of the fight.
Sure. I don't believe it's load shedding. I don't want to dox anyone, but Lime and me live in the same area, and I've obviously still got power. So hopefully it's just an internet DC, and they'll be back soon. But still, I mean, that was a really good start from Crimson. I think, again, Pangolins playing too far back. Again, trying to play a bit more reactively. Yes, with the soldier in the Zen, you kind of do that. But there's no... I feel like they're just waiting for things to happen. And the last thing you want to do is let the Doom become oppressive and let them determine when the engagement happens. Obviously, it's a bit harder with the D.Va. D.Va is a bit more of a reactive hero. But I do feel like their positioning from Pangolins is just waiting for things to happen, and you can't keep doing that.
I think the pressure that they're putting on, Super being very, very aggressive.
Yeah.
And I think his pressure is just a little bit overwhelming. It seems like their cat turned off their PC. That is quite hilarious. We have a feline, technical difficulty going on. You do get those sometimes. I feel like, his cat was probably judging him, feeling like, probably left out because of Lion being, very concentrated on his game and probably just, wanted some payback and switched off the PC for him.
I think Pangolins paid this cat to
I think it might have been, underground payment going on there.
Yeah.
There was some deals going out there.
It's not. All jokes aside, it's not the end of the world for Crimson because Lime Oros did go down just before the disconnect, so they'll be coming back from spawn anyway. But obviously, it's never ideal. It's never ideal.
Yeah, I believe he disconnected just before he got taken out. So it was best case scenario, I guess. And with the auto pause going out, it's not too big of a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Just hoping his cat wouldn't, hold the grudge and, maybe try a second time. That would be, not in his favor, and it would be pretty funny. But yeah, we would love to see these games getting played instead of his cat putting off his PC the whole time.
I do love cats, though. They're the only animals who would ever do something like that. I mean, pets are more like it. Yeah.
The only type of pet that accidentally does something like that. I mean, it's if you think about it, a button on a PC, it's not the easiest thing to just switch off by accident and or click the main power button. And cats, I think, always just manage to find themselves in the stickiest situation, or they just manage to just hit the wrong button at the wrong time, which happened here with Lime, and his PC just gets switched off. So very interesting situation. I think the first feline disconnect we have so far for the Sunburst Cup. I mean, I feel like we might have another one. You never know. There might be an uprising. We might have to get a tally on the side. Yeah. I don't know how many people's PCs are getting switched off by their cats, but hopefully there's up to that. Yeah, cat PC counter, yeah.
I have a really good question that was posed in the chat. Do you listen to music when you play Overwatch? Especially when you're like playing in these big kind of games?
I personally I do. If it's depending on the situation, of course, but a lot of times because I'm also new to scrimming, it's something I still have to learn, but a lot of callouts and stuff going out, and I usually manage to catch the right callouts, or I don't catch the right callouts, but I usually play with music. It just helps me have more of a vibe going on, and I think especially like when you're losing. I mean, as joining a new team, when I joined my new team, obviously with new players and with a new team, you have a bit of a bit of difficulty in the beginning. So I think listening to music helped me with, losing all of those early games when you start scrimming, and, just helping me not get tilted or, tired of scrimming, and at least, having fun. I think having fun is the most important part when it comes to playing Overwatch or playing games in general.
I agree. I'm also a music listener, but we get back into the game.
Game is important immediately.
Rafiki is going to touch the point. I think trying to fresh out this Genji is the play. You don't want the D.Va to come back and get onto the point, and that is what's going to happen. D.Va does get onto the point. I still feel like if Super does go down in which he is 1 HP, Limeros does come back and does get picked off. Pangolins do have the ability to take back this point.
Very low.
Super is going to come and see what damage you can get done. But I do feel like they just need to stabilize a little bit here. Zen is definitely going to go down. A trance is going to come out. And this is going to signal a huge attacking intent from Super. And he does get the pick onto the soldier of Ret. This is looking really good so far. Again, for the side of Crimson. Super getting another pick onto the Zen. And
he's almost taking out.
That mini stabilize into Transcendence was huge. I don't think Pangolins was expecting that at all.
Again, Rafiki, being the only one alive, but I think this time he's going down. Yeah. I mean, 2 ults coming out from Crimson, and obviously they take point because of those. Very aggressive from DH. He does take down Ret.
I love this. I absolutely adore this aggression. I feel like this is the way Overwatch should be played. It is such a fun play style to watch. There's always something happening, but it's not too bad on the side of Pangolins. They do have a lot of ults coming up.
Yeah, I think Super is playing very well. I mean, they do have a Zen, BK playing Zen, so it is, it's not they can't take him out. He's definitely very vulnerable when that orb of Discord goes on him, but he's just playing so well.
Again,
it's another pick.
Pangolins waiting too long to use their ultimates. And Limeros does get the pick onto the soldier, onto Red again. Super is in the back line, causing havoc. And the payload's being pushed all the time. Poached Egg is going to use the D.Va bomb. No picks for that. It's going to be a... Oh, what a pick from Melody and Super onto the tactical visor soldier. What a huge pick. There's going to be a stall onto the cart on Poached Egg. BK7 is managed to get Super, but Poached Egg does lose a mech. I still feel like this is going to be a tough fight for Pangolins. A blade here from Limeros gets to the pick onto the Genji and will clean up the Kiriko. This is going to be Crimson taking this point really quickly. I love this playstyle from Crimson right now.
I think, they're very aggressive, and it's, Pangolins have struggled a lot against this aggressiveness, especially, the way Super is playing. I mean, that's why I said I love the way Super plays, and his Doom is just very good. He's not vulnerable, though, and he does go down.
Really good.
They did get the point, though, so they do have, the chance to stabilize.
Yeah. I think it's a really good trance from PK7, but saying that, I mean, Super will be incredibly happy with that. They just open up the point, and they just get trance out. That's huge. Again, Rafiki now with the blade. I do think like that's going to be the key in this fight. There's going to be a transcendent. Super is going to go out and gets the Zen super fast. Again, Pangolins just taking too long to use the ult, and Super coming in and cleaning up. It's going to be Crimson taking this. They're going to get near the end of Blizzard World with this push.
Super just being very smart the way he plays. Like he skipped his Zarya, going straight for Genji. Does get taken down, but he did do a lot of damage, pushing him back. I mean, Super just, taking down everyone. I mean, his ults are killing everyone. He's just doing very, very well. Not missing abilities, getting good punches. So far, playing very, very well this game.
Again, Pangolins, they get the pick on the... Okay, I'll just call what's going on here. It's going to be a Kitsune Rush from the side of Pangolins and a Transcendence from the side of Crimson to counter the Genji ult. But it is going to be like Pangolins going to be able to clean this up. The picks are going in Crimson's favor there, and it's going to be can Crimson clean up before the picks before the respawns come up from Pangolins? I don't believe that's going to be the case, and I do feel like Pangolins are going to be able to get it stabilized. Yeah.
I think Pangolins are playing better. I mean, they're definitely getting better and better with countering the aggression. But I think with the staggers as well, Crimson is playing much better when falling back. I mean, immediately if someone gets taken out, they know they can't win the fight. They immediately go back, and I think Pangolins, you know, stagger a bit too much sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Red does get the pick onto the Ana, so this should be a bit of again a stabilize from Crimson. As I say, that Super's gonna go and he is gonna get trapped though, and yeah, this is definitely gonna be a reset for the side of Crimson.
Red doing very good with the with the Junkrat pick. What a pick you usually see, and it's very fun and exciting to see someone play Junkrat. I mean, it's a big counter, you know, for Doom if he goes into the trap.
And I think Concussion Mine is also, it just doesn't allow the Doom to do exactly what he wants to do. Ret is going to be able to get a pick with the help of Rafiki onto the Tracer. This is going to be a bit of a reset for Crimson. This is definitely going better for Pangolins, but it's going to be so many ultimates on the side of Crimson coming up.
Yeah, I mean, Kazu being on, you know, 60%, 50% nearly there, and, you know, 4 ults for ODPS, and then
Meteor Strike's going to come in, nothing to get, but it does be able to get the Junkrat. It's going to be trades on that side, but losing the tank is probably a bit bigger. A big grab, it is going to be a Transcendence on the side of Crimson. A Blade is going to come in from Lamo. Picks are kind of going here and there, but which will suit Pangolins as they have spawn margin. I do think this is going to be Pangolins cleaning up again.
Yeah, it does seem like Pangolins, like I was saying, they're countering a bit better. Ooh, Zen is kicking out.
The Melody is popping off.
The tank swap coming in from BH though.
I like the Ryan swap. I do think the Doomfist was struggling a lot against the Junkrat. I don't think it's a huge counter, but that was looking like it in that map. But I think Crimson is going to have to just be super aggressive on the Zarya, because there's so many ults on the side of Crimson. And now a huge onto the Junkrat. What a huge pick from Crimson. And Super's going mad in the backline. It's again Pangolins being too reactive and not proactive enough. A pulse bomb onto the Ana. That's going to open it up for the side of Pangolins. Tracer is going to be cleaned up, I believe. Yeah, Tyre gets down as well, but a huge pick from Rafiki onto the Zen. I still think Pangolins have a chance to counter this.
Oh, Nova Queen does get taken out.
It is a huge pick, and a bit of a C9 from the ball, yeah. And that's a huge push from Crimson. They even have 8 seconds, and sometimes that 8 seconds makes a huge difference. Obviously, that means if Pangolins were to cap in all 3 points, they will definitely be a third and fourth round.
I think Risen playing very well there in the end, keeping on payload, even though, you know, them all bomb rushing out of spawn. I think that was really good that he kept on a point, because, you know, we had the C9 and he pushed it fully there. And, you know, Super coming in with the swap as well, immediately cleaning Pangolins out as soon as he went around. And I think, you know, the way Super is able to know, I mean, most of the time looking, he's 100 HP and maybe under, but he's still very aggressive, and I think that's what throwing Pangolins off, because he's just, you know, even though he's low, he has faith in his backline to heal him, and he's you know, very comfortable with playing at so low HP that it just keeps pushing, he keeps going in hard, and I think it's making it much harder for Pangolins.
Leave a broken world behind.
Yeah, I think he's so far just leading this team in such a big way. I do feel like Pangolins were being a lot more proactive in that last map, and I think they have realized that the play here is to just try and be a bit as aggressive as possible. But it is going to be the Doomfist comp again from Crimson, and it's going to be the ball comp with the Genji and Tracer. So very dive-centric, but it does leave the backline for Pangolins quite exposed to this Doomfist and the dive from Crimson. It's going to be
in, but the Tracer gets out.
Oh, really nice cancel on the pile drive from Super, but it is going to be a pick onto the Tracer for Pangolins. Ret does get risen. So Pangolins are going to try and be a bit aggressive here with the extra pick. They're going to be looking for that Zen for the most part. Really nice stabilize though from the side of Crimson. I do feel like Super did overextend a little bit there, but they are going to try and get the ball hit down low.
But a bit extended, he is hacked.
The receiver does go down, but I do think that pick now on Limeros is going to open up this point for Pangolins. I do think there's going to be another touch for sure, but this is looking really good for Pangolins. Crimson also going on to Summit. Doomfist is going to come in, trying to get the Ana. Really nice peel so far, but the Ana does go down. BK7 does go down. And now this is looking good for Crimson, but the pick goes onto the Sombra for Pangolins. There's still a Doofus onto the field. Doofus and the picks are going in Crimson's favor. This is still a very close fight. That Transcendence, if Melody's able to get it, might be the big clincher here, but I do feel like this is going to be Crimson stabilizing.
Yeah, Crimson just, Super just jumping on point there was amazing. I mean, he just forced them back, and he managed to stay alive long enough for his team to come back, and help. Oh, that was really good play coming in from him. Again, being very aggressive, working very well in his favor.
He just needs to be super careful here. He does have the Meteor Strike, but I really love this from Crimson. I keep saying it, but this aggressive play is really good. But they are going to lose the Sombra here. Sometimes that's going to happen, but there should be Pangolins just being aggressive now and trying to clean up this point. Still a really nice stabilize from the final Crimson, and 2 picks from the Doomfist from Super. Huge picks again from him. He's really leading his team here, and it's going to be tough for Pangolins to close it out. There's going to still be a huge Doomfist, but there is 2 picks on the side of Pangolins. Doomfist is still very, very much alive. How long can Super stall this out? That's the real question. Super does get a pick onto the ball as well. This is insane play from him. He almost gets a pick onto the Tracer. Pangolins do get the pick onto Sombra. A Transcendence is going to come through. This should be able to keep Super alive. Is Crimson going to be able to stabilize? It's going to be a blade from Rafiki. Can he clean up this Doomfist? There's still no cleanup on the Doomfist. Window, and the picks are going in Crimson's favor. This is crazy. How they keep clutching these fights. And it is going to be Crimson stabilizing onto this point once again.
I mean, a nano came out, but I mean, it was too late. The blade was already gone. And, then help Rafiki out a much. And it's Super just cleaning up everyone. He's just being so aggressive and just killing everyone. It's crazy. Again, on the backline, immediately as he sees them, he's diving, he's trying his best. And, his backline playing really well, surviving long enough for him to be able to get picks.
And the EMP is going to come through from Risen. Pangolins trying to close this out. A Meteor Strike on the side of Ascension. The Mines are going to get a pick. And this still is the Doomfist alive. Can Pangolins clean this up? It's going to be just a take on the point. And Pangolins start their arduous road back into this game.
Pangolins actually have captain, which is, it was a really close cap. I mean, they did really well. And again, Super being the last one to go down is just crazy. I mean, he's just everywhere, and he seems to be, in between them in their backline the whole time, and still manages to get out, still manages to play really well and getting picks. I mean, he's just picking off people left, right, center. He's just playing so well and so aggressive, and it's just very, very cool to see.
It's a bit of a switch on the comp. It's going to go onto the Hanzo. There's going to be Super coming in. He's going to be able to get out here. Looking really good for him. Super now gets the pick onto Rafiki, and Melody gets the pick onto Nova Queen. But again, Pangolins losing some couple early on to the fight. Poach Egg that's going to pick onto the Baptiste, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Super really going in here and trying to focus and finish up this fight. And I think Crimson again going to be stabilizing here and being able to halt this push from Pangolins.
I mean, it's Paul. He does get out of this field.
Super is going to be able to stabilize this here. This is going to be a bit of a vanilla fight here. There is going to be a Transcendence on the side of Crimson, but there's not really that many ults in this fight, which is going to be good for viewing. It's going to be Ball coming in, trying to just disrupt the Doomfist a little bit, but going to have to just stabilize a little bit. Doomfist still wreaking havoc in the background. It's going to be a Meteor Strike from Super. Does manage to get the picks, but the pick from Melody goes on to Rafiki, and now the picks still going all over the place, but it's definitely favoring Crimson. Some really big picks from Lamaros. Super being an absolute menace, and this is going to be a cleanup from Crimson once again.
Yeah, I think the fact that Super can just let loose. I mean, Melody being a very, very, very good player. I haven't seen times where Super was low and there wasn't, orb on him. Melody is really helping out Super PH with his aggressiveness, giving him just a little bit of edge with a little bit of healing. And, their team, Crimson, being able to keep their own, get their own picks, just helping out Super, dominating the field.
Yeah, comes a blade on the side of Crimson. Lamaros does go in, does get the pick onto the Lucio. So far, this is looking good for Crimson. There's going to be a pick from Rafiki onto the Zen, but all the picks are going into the favor of Crimson. And this is going to be Crimson stabilizing again, and Pangolins are just going to have to throw people onto the point. They do have some ultimates coming up, though.
Rafiki does have Blade, but I mean, he is all alone. And Super trying to finish him off. He does.
Oh, that's really a huge pick.
Big stagger, yeah, coming out. And he does have ult, so we're going to have to get back to the fight quick enough.
A huge cancel on that. BK7 is going to beat you. Going to try and get the pick onto the Genji. But Pazu gets the pick onto the Lucio. And this is looking good for the side of Crimson once again. It's going to be mines from the side of Pangolins, but this is really good play from Crimson.
Is coming out from Melody, just, you know, helping with the cleanup, and, you know, it just ends in Crimson's favor. Crimson taking another map, playing so aggressive. I mean, their aggressiveness is just winning them so many fights.
Yeah, I love watching this team play Overwatch. What an absolute joy to watch them. I'm obviously a little bit biased because Pangolins is one of my teams, but I'm so, you know, you expect me to be waxing lyrical about them, but watching this team play VA Crimson is just honestly amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're really like a dice.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna get in the end of the game. And again, even our manager of our org wasn't sure how Crimson was gonna do. It was a question mark, and like they're showing today, they're on top of their game. I mean, every one of them, Lime putting up so much pressure on the Soldier, Super BH just diving like a absolute menace, just not giving them time to think. They can't really do anything against that. And as soon as Super is diving, Melody is there with the support, really doing a lot, as well as Pazu, keeping the rest of the team alive. And even that with the Melody or with Discord coming out a lot of the times, and Pazu even getting a lot of pigs with his BAP, and Risen with the very good Genji plays, good cleanups, good blades. They were just dominating a lot more and winning more fights. I think Pangolins really played a lot better. I think they are playing a lot more better than the previous map, but it's so far it's looking really good. And I mean, maybe this is the map that Pangolins take. If not, this is going to be a win for Crimson.
Yeah, it's do or die at this point for Pangolins. They know that no mistakes can be made from this point. And I totally agree with you. I think everyone I mean, we're talking a lot about Super, but everyone on Crimson is doing their job. Really, like as you said, you pointed out, each part of what they're doing is coming into this like ball of amazingness that is which is making them able to all pop off at different times. It's really been a joy to watch so far. But it is going to be Dorado's the next map. Again, Pangolins pick. It looks like it's going to be an attack again from Crimson. They want to set the tone for the match, which I really like. But this is definitely Pangolins' best map from what I've seen. Very dive team, and you can be a bit more reactive here. But that's being said, I really do want to see Pangolins being a lot more proactive with the ultimates, with the engagements, all of that. But we shall see.
I mean, like you said, it's like a ball of awesomeness. This is watching this dive comp coming in from Crimson. And I mean, they're playing really, really well. But I mean, also Pangolins are not playing bad. They're playing really well as well. Rafiki doing a lot on Genji. Red Tracer, winning a lot of 1v1s. BK coming in with a lot of beats. I think they just need to work more on the synergy. I mean, I feel like when it comes to both teams had a lot of good plays, a lot of good skill coming out. I feel like Crimson, with the ults and the chains, they were just doing a lot more. When BH was in their backline, the Crimson backline, was huddled up. They were together. They were making sure that they don't get picked off. And I couldn't say the same for Pangolins. They were getting picked off by BH left, right, and center. I mean, him being so aggressive yet again.
I think one thing that we do have to mention is Pangolins. The one of their biggest things is Rafiki and Solaris are so good as a DPS way. But anyway, here we go. We're going to be a TP onto the high ground for the Zen 4 on the side of Crimson. So Melody is going to be drived here. Really much better play from Pangolins, realizing that the Zen was vulnerable, being a bit more proactive. and there's going to be a couple picks going for the side of Pangolins. This is a really good start for them. I like the idea from Crimson, but Pangolins were ready.
They were ready for the TP. Yeah, I mean, TP does get used a lot on this map, and I think,
yeah, for sure.
You know, Pangolins, you know, having experience, they were just ready. I mean, they knew what was coming, and they countered it very well.
Super is going to switch off straight to the Winton. But there's going to be a Winton versus D.Va matchup, which is a matchup Winton used to really struggle with. I feel like with the changes, it definitely is still D.Va favorite, but it's something you could definitely make work a bit easier. They're going to obviously try and force the D.Va off the high ground for the first part. Brett does get the pick onto Limaros, really good start for Pangolins. Rez is going to come through for Pazu, and Risen does get the pick onto Nova Queen. This is going to be really tough for Pangolins to really stabilize here, and this is going to be... that res was really huge, and Super and Limaros is going to be able to clean up here.
But, I mean, like again, Super the whole time just jumping from enemy to enemy, just putting on pressure the whole time.
A bit of a mistake. Should have trusted the Kiriko, but it's not the end of the world. Genji will be back pretty soon, but Pangolin should be able to get a stabilize yet. Oh, dive in from Rafiki onto the side of Crimson, and this should be, yeah, that was a really good dive from Pangolins, much better, and they are able to clean it up.
I mean, they're countering diving, and they're doing really well. I think, you know, the bomb, you know, taking out Lime was really good. You know, I think I won them, you know, the fight that was a 5v4, and
yeah,
didn't really do much against that.
Crimson going to be taking the high ground. Again, this is going to be Pangolins trying to be a bit more aggressive, but at the same time, it's going to be met with the aggressiveness of Crimson. It's going to be Super using his primal to get to Nova Queen, and Nova Queen is going to go down. Brett does get the pick onto Pazu. Really nice primal so far from Super, and the picks are slowly but surely going into the favor of Crimson. They should be able to clean up here. Much better from Pangolins, but Crimson taking the fight.
I think again there, you know, Pangolins did much better than usually. I mean, they're winning fights as well. Again, I think there with the Genji ult coming in from Rafiki, you know, with Super just, you know, being in this rage mode going on and just hitting everyone out of range. I mean, it made it a bit harder for Rafiki to, you know, use his blade and commit really there. But I mean, he is swapped. That might have been a swap from a planned already.
Yeah. I mean, this aggression again from Crimson. I was wondering why they were diving so early, but it works. It works every time. Pangolins are just not expecting it. They should expect it at this point, but they're just not. And this has just been so fantastic so far. And I believe this is going to be Pochek losing a mech. No, just slowly, just saving the mech. Goes for a bomb and doesn't get anything from the side of Pochek. And the pick is going to go into Super. The Pangolins do get the pick, and there should be Pangolins being able to stop this cart where it is right now.
I mean, again, Melody really clutch coming in with the clan.
Yeah.
Super trusted that, and 100%, you know, worked out. But I mean, again, he was alone in their backline, had no shield, had no jump, and was caught off guard. But again, you know, being so aggressive, they're just, you know, being overly aggressive. I mean, when Pangolins are still grouping up, was it there in their backline with the rest of the team.
They're going to come through, but it's going to be a beat from BKS, a really nice beat, and that is going to result in Limaros being taken out. I don't believe that Pangolins, never mind, ignore me. Rafiki does get the pick onto Risen, and this should be Pangolins being able to clean up, but a little bit of card push. Super is going to be using the primal, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to get anything.
And we're being forced to use primal with the, you know, with Red Pulse Bomb coming in, so yeah. You know, that was probably, you know, unfortunate for him, but I mean, he did get more card push, and then Pangolins doing much better. I mean, they're actually holding their own so far.
Yeah, that beat was really good for BK7. It allowed them to just stabilize from that blade and just get the picks. I think it's time for this copy to come out from Risen. I think it's super important that they get this Winton copy from the side of Pangolins. Let's see what Rafiki can get done. He does get to the pick onto Limaros to switch to the Sojourn. This is good from Pangolins. Can they clean up? It does look like they're going to be. It's going to be a copy on the side of Crimson, and Super is able to get to the pick. It's going to be, that's what Risen is able to get. He does lose his mech and does lose the copy, but Super gets another pick. I believe that's both support. No, it's not both supports. It's going to be a remech from Pangolins. Rafiki does get the pick on Pazu, but Super's still very much alive. And it's just really Tracer and Echo. It is going to get a bit more card push. Pangolins are definitely going to be able to stabilize and get another touch. But Limoros gets the pick onto the Echo. Super's still going mad on the backline. This is so good from Crimson.
He's just on the supports the whole time. He's not giving them any room to breathe, and that's what's winning these fights. They're trying to group up, and Super's just there already.
That's amazing. Going to be a stick onto Limoros, a really nice stick from Ret. It's going to be both Kitsune Rushes coming out. Risen does get to the pick to Nova Queen. It's all going to come down to what Super can get done. But the picks are just all going into the favor of Crimson, and Crimson should be able to take this point here.
I thought this would be harder.
No, Super probably monkey out. I mean, again, Super, hunting down their supports in their back, and again, it's not like, he's carrying the whole team. He's doing very good, but the team is carrying their own. They are getting their own picks that they have to, and they are supporting Super when he goes in. So this is, as good as team synergy can get. I mean, this is really good play so far. Pangolins playing very well though, playing very, very well. More close game I think than we've had before. So
yeah, much better. I agree. It's gonna be switch to the Hunter, so again, a bit more of a stabilizing comp, a bit more of a poke comp from Pangolins. They do manage to keep the Hunter alive. Poached Egg is going to try and get the pick onto the Echo, but Rafiki is the one who gets it in the end. And Rafiki is going to see what he can do against the Winston. But this should be Pangolins closing out this fight. And it is going to be a stabilize here from Crimson.
Take a bit too extended, but I mean, they're retreating and they're safe.
Yeah.
Safe and sound right now.
I think that's always going to happen with Crimson, is they are going to overextend sometimes. But it's worth it for the amount of, for how many fights they win.
For how aggressive they play and how much they win those aggressive plays. It's just so much better than. I'm going to be very enclosed.
It's going to be a copy from Risen, but I think he's going to lose that mech really quick. Ret is that man to get the D-mech, and Rafiki is going to get the pick onto Limoros. Really good start here from Pangolins. Melody is able to trade out the Kiriko, but I do believe this is going to be Pangolins being able to clean up, and it's going to be just people throwing, going to be Crimson throwing people onto the point last minute here. Risen does get the pick onto Ret, but with the res, it's not going to matter too much. Poach Egg does need to be careful. She doesn't want to use mech and have to use bomb super earlier just for a remech. It's going to be Limoros touching. I don't know how long that's going to be for. It's got no use for the overclock there. It's going to be a bomb here. Super is onto the back line, onto the Hunter, but he is going to go down.
91% ult.
Really nice healing from the Nova Queen here, and some really good picks from Rafiki. And up.
Melody not getting on point in time, and I know that first round. I mean, very well played from Pangolins. I mean, they really turned this around. They really, showed that they learned from their previous mistakes. They learned how aggressive, they can be, how aggressive Crimson can be, and I mean, they were doing so much better now. I mean, they were just taking so many fights they usually lost, and they're punishing Crimson so much for the over aggressiveness. It's just a really good matchup so far, and Pangolins, I mean, I can't believe how good they're playing now. I mean, they're just bringing it back. Really, they're bringing it back so much.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of, again, I talked about it earlier, but picking your own, the losers get to pick the map. Then they know what maps they're good at. They know how to, they've probably scrimmed on it really many times. They know how to play it a bit better, and I really like that element. It really it brings a different element to the game. But Crimson know what they need to do. They know exactly what I mean, Pangolins, they know, Crimson know exactly what they need to do. Just hold just before the last point, and they win the series. Pangolins know what they have to do. They just need to be able to cycle their ults a little bit better.
We have a D.Va on Super BH coming out, I think, first time so far. And this is going to be really good to see the D.Va versus D.Va matchup.
I really like
the only difference in the comp being, the Cassidy versus Sovereign.
So I do think that it is going to be a bit more reactive from Crimson, but I still expect the trademark aggression when they can be. It's going to be Super going in. He does need to be super careful. Does have obviously his defense matrix. Echo does try and get the pick onto the side of Pangolins, Super is going to lose his mech though, but Poached Egg is going to do the same, and Red does get to the pick on Super. Oh, the picks are going all over the place, so this should be Pangolins pushing through the first side of Dorado, first corner.
I mean, Pangolins, yeah, just pushing so much better now, and you know, BH going down so quickly. It was a bit hard for them to really do much. Both team mechs, but I mean, Super was getting taken out quickly.
Poached Egg does get her mech back as well, so this is going to be a full-on 5v5 fight. Rafiki's super close to Copy. I think that might be the key here. If he's able to get Copy here, and it could be the difference here. Super does go down super quickly, and so does Risen. And this is going to be Pangolins being able to take the point.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like the with Risen on Cassidy, I feel like he's not doing as much as Red. Red is just melting Super on Diva. And now swap to Monkey. I feel like maybe that's gonna be a better pick. You know, Pangolins being way more you know, at ease with more you know, standard and you know, stationary picks, and you know, with Monkey he can drive a lot more and be around the damage that Red you know, gives out.
A res here on Lime Oros, so it was an echo trade-off, but the res does come through, and I believe that Copy is going to be really key. Poached Egg does lose the mech, but the rest of the team wasn't really with her, and this is much better from the side of Crimson. They got that res where they weren't playing reactive. They went for that aggression like they so known for, and the Winston is going to be able to clean up now.
Very good combination there from Lyman and Super with the cleanup there. I mean, again, Super swapping to Monkey, instantly winning the fight. I mean, I feel like he just, with so much movement more that Monkey has, I feel like, you know, Super can be more aggressive and get more out easier than he can on Diva. Especially since Red is on the Soldier, doing so much damage.
A copy from Lamaros. Both teams copy each other's tanks. It's going to be Lamaros actually peeling, trying to get the Echo. Poached Egg does go down, but she does use a remake. And he has the Echo Bomb. Is it going to get anyone? It does get Nova Queen. That's a huge pick on the side of Crimson. And that should open up the rest of this point. Can Pangolins get the next pick though and throw this fight up? Risen does get the DMAC and should be Pangolins resetting.
Super sniping Rafiki out of, you know, doing a bit of sniper monkeying there, and I mean he's playing so well. Again, with the monkey, I think being much stronger. I mean, total super fashion looking at a wall. I mean, this guy is just so different. I mean, he's really so good.
He's really good. They're going to dive Super early. This might be a bit of an overextension, but Super does have his bubble. Poached Egg is going to go for the dive with the Echo, but it's going to be a bit of a stabilize here. Poached Egg, sorry, does end up losing her mech in the end. And this is going to look really tough without that Diva. Risen gets the pick onto Rafiki. No one to really put pressure on that Cassidy. And this will be Crimson just resetting it, or getting a reset out of Pangolins.
Again, Super just dealing so much damage, and you know, the counter jumps on Poached Egg on the Diva. You know, he's just doing so much pressure. He's just taking out Diva, and you know, being able to shoot around the matrix just makes Poached Egg's you know, job so much harder.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
it comes to diving their team.
I like this rotation from Pangolins. I think they've got to force this Cassidy off the high ground, and they are, and I believe Crimson are going to respect it, and Cassidy's going to push back. But a dive in here from Super. I do feel like he needs to be very careful, but the pick onto BK7 does come down, but no tank on the side of Crimson. It's going to be a res from both sides. It's going to be a copy from Lamaris, but Lamaris is going to lose mech super quickly. Or we get the remech almost. A copy from the side of Pangolins onto the Winston. Can Pangolins clean this up and start pushing this point? I think this is a really good stabilize from Crimson though. So super close. It's good
I mean,
either way,
I was really well played. I mean, Super there dying first of all, falling off the edge and then jumping into it by accident. But he get rezzed.
Oh, Super gets super low. A really good heals out to from the side of Crimson. These are also going to be really settled it. I think that the Kitsune Rushes, whoever's Kitsune Rush is better, will win this fight. I think it's going to come down to that. Super's going to get super aggressive into this room. Let's see what picks he can get. There's going to be a trade of Kitsune Rushes. It's going to be a bomb from the side of Poached Egg. It's not going to get anything. A res does come on a BK7, which means this is going to be a 4v4. The next pick is crucial here, and it is going to be Pangolins stabilizing a little bit. Oh, super low, and BK7 does go down. Rafiki does get to the pick onto the Echo. Is Pangolins able to clutch this out? Super is back, but I think they are going to get a little bit of push onto this point. Post egg loses mech right there. And
Line playing really well, very aggressive, taking out their back line.
Really well done from Crimson. Another huge stabilize. Ret is going to be able to get the pick onto Limehouse, but I don't think it's going to matter. I do feel like this is just going to be Pangolins throwing people onto the point. It is quite far back, so they don't really have to throw a lot of people, but this is not looking good for them at all. Only really Echo Ult left on the side of
They're
Pangolins.
really doing well with the flanks, but I mean, they're not as aggressive as Crimson and giving Crimson too much time to flank around.
Even loses the mech, that's
And
so bad.
Getting teammated again at the last fight, possibly. You get a Genji copy.
Genji copy, I love it, I love it. Limehouse is going to go, are they able to get the mech? Huge picks from the side of Crimson. Project is able to get the pick onto the Mercy, and they do a swan advantage, but the picks are going all the way into Crimson's favor. All Crimson need to do is clean up here, and they should get it. Rafiki does get the pick onto the Winston. This could open it up. BK7 goes down. Nova Queen, last person on point, and this should be Crimson taking this match. It's so close. Will they get another touch? Crimson takes the match 3-0.
That was, I mean, Pangolins played so well. I mean, they were just bringing it back. But I mean, when they swapped to Winston and Super just swapped to Winston, he was just doing too much. I mean, his Winston was so aggressive, and they didn't know how to play around it. They did try flanks, but their flanks didn't work out. They were giving too much time for Crimson to, stack up and see, oh, we're flanking. Let's get to them first. And every time when there was engage, it was Super going in first. I mean, I feel like that was what set them apart. I feel like Super going in, setting the pace was what brought it home there for Crimson.
Yeah. Honestly, that was a joy to watch. I think Pangolins definitely brought it back a bit more on Dorada, but Crimson was definitely the better team, and they were very good for their win. I don't know if we're doing player of the match. I think we all know who it's going to be if we do.
I think we all do know who it's going to be.
But really massive plays from both teams. But Crimson just... I definitely feel like Pangolin's biggest asset is their DPS synergy, which is really good between Ruffy and Solaris. And not having that did play its part. But I don't believe it would have made a difference. I think Crimson was just a better team, more well-drilled. They knew what they're doing. They had a better identity. I believe they've practiced more as well. And I think that it is why it ended up the way it did, with Pangolins going down 3-0.
I mean, you do. It is funny hearing you say, they practiced more. I mean, Crimson is actually a very, very new team. They,
for
obviously,
sure.
the players in it are really good players, as we've seen today. And the fact that they barely scrim even, as the Crimson schedules usually look the worst than I've seen in my entire life. I mean, I don't think they did worse schedules than Crimson. But even with their lack of scrims, a lot of times they still did a lot. I mean, they Super just being so aggressive. I mean, doing so much damage. But I mean, like you said, there was a bit of players not being able to come today. A bit of core not available, and I think it helped a lot, for Crimson being so aggressive. And maybe, I mean, you like you said, maybe Solaris and them maybe they could have easier handled the aggressiveness, and maybe they could have turned it around. But I mean, the way Crimson was playing today, I think it would have been still a very, very hard and a very good match to watch. I mean, again, Crimson with their dive comp, very, very fun to watch. It was very entertaining to just, what Super was doing was just fantastic.
I think we have to mention, Melody just put in chat that they were joined as a tank sub but played support. They were fantastic on support.
I mean, the Suzus, whatever they were coming out were, I mean, I think it was crazy. The Zen Orbs, on Super, just giving him that edge when it comes to HP regen. I think it made so much difference. I mean, I could see the difference it was making. It was doing so much. Again, their synergy was really good. Every time Super went in, there was an orb on him, and I think that helped a lot. Every diva bomb, there was really good Suzus coming out. So, a lot of good plays from Crimson. I think overall, I think they're all of their players were just playing so well, and all of them were performing very well and performing as they should be, doing a lot. When it comes to this match.
For sure. For player of the match, I wonder who we're going to pick. No, it's obvious. It is going to be Super
I
BH.
wondered too, yeah. No, yeah.
His aggression was insane. I mean, you could say a lot about tanks. Their aggression is good, but it was he had the backing of his team at all times, and he popped off. And he definitely deserved to be player of the game. He was by far the best monkey that I've seen so far. Honestly, I know. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of good monkey players. Swoom, I know Trigger plays as well. Stalker, but honestly, I don't think he carried the team for sure. But he played a huge part in that player of the match. That match.
I feel like he was carrying in some sense. I feel like he was playing so phenomenal. You have such a great player doing so much, and he had the best team going and backing him up. I mean, it's one thing to be a good player, but I mean, with his team doing their job, doing their line, putting him in positions, helping him survive positions he wasn't supposed to be in, I think that did so much. And I think, like, every time Super was in Pangolin's background, Crimson was just doing their own. They did not go down. They got dived so many times. When Super went in, there's a dive coming out from Pangolins, and they were, also doing a lot against Crimson. But I mean, Crimson was just, they all did their job so well. The supports were supporting extremely well, and the DPS were getting their picks, doing their damage, which just made it so much easier for Super to just go in, pop off, and get out, no problem. And then again, them just chasing them down every time Crimson saw a speck of Pangolin's player, they just went in. They just didn't care, and they were, rewarded so many picks and so many staggers for going for those opportunities, playing so aggressive, which I think most teams struggle a lot with.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think we are going to wrap it up. We do have a cast coming at 4:00. I don't know. We are obviously not 100% sure who's going to be doing it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be casting. I'm pretty sure Hydra is going to be casting, but we'll see. But I did want to talk about, just before we left, that what the bracket's going to be looking like in the winner semi-final. It's Five Nights at Freddy versus Inglorious Blasters. In the other winner semi-final is going to be Pig Salamanders versus VA Crimson, which I think is going to be a great game. I think Inglorious Blasters versus Five Nights at Freddy is going to be even closer. And then in the lower bracket, Pangolins will be taking on Strategic Storm at 4:00. So we will be back. I don't know if it's going to be us two, but pretty sure it will be. But we're going to be back with either Inglorious Blasters or versus Five Nights at Freddy, or Pink Salamanders versus VA Crimson. So yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. We appreciate all the support. If you want to follow COWZA on all our socials, that'd be great. They are just below the stream. I'm Phoenix Tears, aka Phoenix Tears 45, but Phoenix Tears 45 is all my socials. Hydra, where can everyone find you?
I mean, I'm pretty much incognito when it comes to most of my social media, but my Twitter is there. I do barely use it, but it is there for people that do want to search for it.
Cool. Thank you to our wonderful producer, Clark. He's done a fantastic job. I guess we'll be seeing you very soon. I don't even know if we are ending the stream, but I imagine we are. But we'll be back with one of those games.
Yeah, and I just want to say quickly again, with both teams, Pangolins and Crimson both played extremely well. I mean, even though Crimson come on top, Pangolins were facing them for a reason. Pangolins are also a very good team, and they did get there on their own accord. They weren't able to bring down the W, but I mean they were playing so well as well. And the fact that they adapted so much over just 2 matches, being able to make such a big difference in the end, I think was incredible. A lot of teams, sometimes when they get such a interesting new play, they just can't really, they don't know what to do against it, and they can get completely wiped. But I mean, Pangolins brought it pretty much back at the last map, so I think both teams played really well, and we thank the subs as well for coming in.
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
think that'll be it.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. We'll be seeing you in a bit. Have a good rest of your afternoon and weekend if we don't see you. But thank you, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.